let's get into spoilers. So, guys, if you haven't seen this film, get out of here. Come back after you've seen it because we don't want to ruin anything. Can we start off with something you brought up, Connor, which was that's right at the beginning, the whole he's in the muscle car and he's analog, and then there's the AI car comes wheeling along. Like I love that, but a little on the nose somehow. Didn't kind of flow. I really liked it though. I think this is the setup at the beginning. It kind of felt a little clunky.
Yeah, no,
and then kind of just like plot thread 1, 2, 3, and it felt as I've said, screenwriters 101.
Yeah, conceptually, I don't have a problem with it. I should, I guess, clarify that. Conceptually, I have no problem with them, showing that he is a guy that likes to get his hands dirty. For whatever reason, some of the banter between him and his wife made it feel as if it was a bit too tell not show type thing. And that's what got me. So it's not necessarily just him working with muscle cars, which I think is a good way to show that he is really into it. But it's when he starts talking to his wife about the fact that she's got all this technology and that she should be driving. It just felt like if you were a real couple, you wouldn't be having this conversation again. Like this feels like something that you'd have sorted out by now.
Did you think they purposefully directed that scene when they first go into their house? She seemed very preoccupied with the tech. Like, did you feel that was part of the direction of that scene? Did you guys get that at all?
Oh yeah, but I mean, she felt very at home with the high tech, and I think that was 100% intentional to show that she lives in this world and she's fine with it, and that he's very much not at ease.
See, because that for me worked in one way positively because it enhanced that whole idea that we've just been talking about, but negatively in that I didn't feel any connection between these characters. So when that scene happened where she died, for me there was the emotional resonance. It was the scenes after where you saw his reaction that I got more into it. That to me felt a little undercooked, and I think they could have maybe done a little more there.
Yep.
The whole first act I just excuse as B-movie stuff. Like, it's just the shit you got to do before you get the cool action movie. Like, it's just by the numbers. I think it was well executed enough, but it was like, okay, we're watching the wife die again, cool, and then we get the movie after that. Yeah. So you kind of got to sit through that first.
Yeah, and I mean it's a trope of the genre. But it's still, whenever I see it, it is a little bit not exhausting, but it's just kind of one of those tinges that you get, and you're like,
going through the formality.
Yep, exactly. I think the next thing we need to talk about in spoilers is the big twist. Well, the two big twists. So the first twist is that, old mate kid, whatever his name is, Aaron, who's played by Harrison Gilbertson.
So the head of the company.
Yeah, the slightly autistic kid. That he was the one that's behind all of this, which I felt was fairly obvious.
Well, that wasn't the actual twist.
It wasn't the actual twist, which I thought that was
cool.
A
stepping stone.
Yeah, it was a stepping stone twist. So the second twist was that Stem was behind it all along, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think it worked in pretty well.
I think the way the movie caps it off is fantastic. I think it ties it together very well. There was definitely a part where it was kind of revealing him to be the bad guy, which doesn't make any sense necessarily. It's like, this isn't a good direction for this to go. This is lame. Yeah. But then they bring it right back home. I think there's like the fourth fifth of the film is like maybe a weak point to some degree. The fourth fifth, but then the fifth nails it.
Nice.
So yeah,
I have no idea what you're referencing at this point. Like, you gotta be a little bit more specific. I think that one of the turning points for me, because I really enjoyed the buddy cop style and that.
I was disappointed when it turned into adversarial, the relationship.
Same.
Because I was like, early on in the film when they first started working together, I was like, I love this.
Yes.
And I would like to see a sequel of this. Like, I would like to see a series of these.
Yeah. I am 100% with you there.
Yeah. I'm a little bit unhappy that they took that away, because I was really enjoying that. Having said that, the direction that they went was certainly interesting. So when Stem says that moment where he's like, when you turned off the control from the head guy, you also, turned off your control. That I genuinely felt fear on the behalf of the main character.
Mm.
And I was like, that would be a terrifying moment when someone says, you're no longer in control of your own body.
Mm.
And I think that while again is not the way that I think I would have wanted it to go, I'm more than happy to put, it's one of those moments where like I'm the person watching this film. I'm the one being taken along for the ride. I'm going to trust the director on this one.
Yeah, I feel like they could have potentially done it in a way where maybe STEM had gotten infected and somebody maybe was controlling STEM, rather than STEM being the main source of all of the activity that happened in this film. So that you can solve that and then move into upgrade 2, upgrade 3 with this great buddy cop kind of thing.
It's tough, yeah, because I find the endings really strong.
So, like, actually, you know what? Made the film better.
Totally, because
Made the film better.
Well, that's kind of what I was trying to say with my weird analogy, where I think because I didn't like the direction it was going, but the ending was so strong that it saved that plot point for me. So it's confusing because on the one hand, I would have liked a movie where they were just, Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy working together the whole time, but the way it ended really capped it off beautifully and really made it this standalone.
Yeah, it makes it worth it that you don't get that.
Yeah, and I love those endings, those Cabin in the Wood endings where it's just,
you're
the world's going to end.
Yeah.
It's all done now.
Yeah, and then what did you think of that? Like the VR or the alternate reality?
Now, speaking of ham-fisted, that was ham-fisted when he goes into the hacker den and there's all these people in the VR just doing the
that
weird
was a
VR dance.
Major tip
and he's
off.
like, man, I don't understand why people live in the VR world. It's like, why are we talking about this?
Yeah, it's like, well, this is going to come in. Like,
really, I thought that was fine.
No, that was
it was fine, but it was a bit much.
Like that, because I knew that either A, he was in a simulation,
or B, Leigh Whannell really hates VR.
Yeah, or B, that he would eventually, that someone would be put into a simulation or something like that.
For me, I just took that as world building. I took that as very similar thing to the AI car. Like it was like almost like going to a crack den in the future.
Yeah, it's a bit unnecessary at that point. I mean, the world's pretty built at that, and to sacrifice dialogue time, like in that way, felt like, this is not just like this is here for a reason. And that it's too existential and it's too specific for it to just be random world building. Like if it was world building, I'd be happy if they were just standing there and they never addressed it. I reckon that would have been cool. But it's because they actually actively addressed it that I was like
commentary kind of thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is going to come into play.
Yeah. I've got to give a shout out to sorry, we're continuing the VR thing. I loved it. You guys have qualms with that, that setup, the actual execution of the final scene where he's with the wife. So brutal. So brutal. And I love, oftentimes, people say, I want to see movies where the bad guy wins. And when you see that, you can feel like a little numb and empty. But in this one, they seem to make it work. Where you still felt excited. Like you still felt like, oh, like it was, but it wasn't like Wolf Creek where it was like, God, I feel cold.
Well, I mean, it was kind of a happy ending for him, for Gray.
Yeah,
like he's with his wife. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah, and that's kind of the tech aspects.
Both STEM and Gray are happy at the end. They're sweet. I mean, the cop copped it, but
yeah, seriously. I still felt upset that the bad guy won. I didn't feel like at any point victorious or anything like that. And again, if he had just offed himself, I feel like I would have enjoyed that more. Once again, I'm just going to kind of take this is the direction that they decided to go, and I'm cool with that.
So I definitely prefer the ending we got to that. Like if he just killed himself at the end or something, like that would have been like. I wouldn't have found that satisfying at all. Like I like
you wouldn't have enjoyed that.
No, not at all. No, I like the version where he tries to kill himself and he thinks he succeeds, briefly, and then it's just this other thing, and then the bad guys just that makes it feel like all Twilight Zone-y or something. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it does feel like almost like a short story or something, just very self enclosed.
Yeah.
What the thing that I wanted to talk about was the at the end of the scene, that's the main sequence from the trailer where he gets the knife and Attack on Titan's the guy.
That's when I yelled.
Chelsea grins.
Yeah.
I loved that.
I'd already seen it. And
Yeah,
Still, I
exactly.
was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
holy shit.
I loved it.
I
brilliant.
absolutely loved that scene. There's so much to talk about with that one scene, but I feel like we talked about it in the trailer, and that's one of the things that really upset me
The
about
whole
this
thing
film.
was in it. I mean, it was the best scene of the film,
Yeah, that was
hands down.
the best scene of the film.
Mm.
I was about to say hands down, but you just said that.
Hands down.
Hands down, without a doubt.
Tons.
Nearly the entire sequence was already released.
Mm.
And I felt like the other big moment was when he broke his arm and shot himself in the head with, or shot the bad guy in his head with his own arm gun, which is another brutal moment,
Nuts.
but is in the trailer.
But it cuts before the cherry on top, at least in the trailer. So that was fucking awesome.
So I felt like they might have given a little bit too much away, but I understand with these lower budget films that aren't going to get as wide a release or not going to have as big a marketing budget, you got to kind of pack as much punch as you can with your marketing, which is I find really unfortunate, because I thought that I would have loved to have seen that scene just fresh.
But how else would you even market this movie?
Oh,
I mean,
well, exactly, yeah.
Unfortunately, the action scenes are pretty few and far between. It's quite sparse. And even though that's the best one, there's like only two others.
Just take out, at least take out that money shot of like at the end, like that, because that's such a because that was one of the moments where everyone's just started clapping, because it's such a moment. Yeah. What did you guys think of the hacker? Jamie or something?
The Australian.
Yeah, I thought it was a quirky little dialogue.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Interesting, kind of androgynous sort of character. Yeah,
very
like,
androgynous.
Yeah, I mean, quite only one scene, right?
Oh yeah, very quick. But it was an example of the cheeky kind of humor that they had.
Yeah.
There's a couple of moments where it just switched gears into humor, which is talking about, you're the one wasting time by placing me in a binary box type thing, like just silly little comments like that. Or him coming into a biker bar and being, doing his little announcement and things like that. So, I liked the way that they had some funny characters in there.
One thing I really want to talk about is that bar scene where he had the guy on the ground, and there was a shot where it was just looking at Logan Marshall-Green. It was like, kind of like, and he was like slicing up his face, something nasty. And it was really disconcerting. Like I was just like, fuck, man, he was really selling this scene in the direction. And then it went back to a shot of the character, and
he's got a couple of paper cuts.
Yeah, it didn't look bad at all.
I was like, oh,
and he dies from it.
I was really undercut that and the payoff wasn't there. I think if he hadn't gone back to him,
totally, yeah,
and just left it as I thought his like face would be all fucked up, maybe his brain's exposed or something.
Yeah, like disappointed though if they didn't show it.
No, it was like either you got to show it and it's got to be fucked, or not showing it would have been better than what they showed.
Well, it would have been better, but if they hadn't shown it, we'd be sitting here talking about like, why didn't they show it? Like,
no, not at all. Because
would have
your
sold
imagination,
the scene probably.
like,
your imagination fills in the blanks.
I feel like, oh god, I don't even want to say it.
Oh god.
It's
say it.
He's saying it.
It's with
shut up.
Yeah, with the skin color, it's harder to show graphic injuries. Oh, no, it is. Like, I mean, it genuinely is. It's harder to show graphic injuries.
Made like
they could have. Oh yeah.
They could have made a prop like they did with the guys whose head got cut in half. Like they could have just made it missing all bits and pieces.
My point being that like if he had a bunch of slices on his face, that might have looked a lot more horrific on someone who had paler skin. So I can understand like I don't know, like I didn't want to say because it sounds dicey, but
yeah, I think if he almost surgically kind of exposed all of his face and his eyeballs were in there, just
he had like his cheeks removed or something.
Well, the noise that he was making, I thought that he had like cut around his tongue or cut his tongue off, something really horrific like that. But they never ended up showing it.
Like,
yeah. That's literally the grunt.
It's literally
the Grudge. Is it Yeah, The Grudge, where he's got like, you know, the lower jaw ripped off type shit.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else anyone wants to mention for this fun little sci-fi romp?
Fucking check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It was not perfect. The seams were there. I swear, it feels like a 2-hour movie to me, thinking back on it.
It really does.
And I enjoyed all of it, but yeah,
we didn't even
it feels like a
talk
2-hour
about
movie.
the cop at all. Really?
Underutilized, I thought.
Not much to say about that character.
Yeah. They didn't really do much with her. But I don't know if there was much to do with her. But then that was the kind of clunky dialogue that I felt was a bit weird. Like when they first are sitting there at the desk and she's like, I'm someone that likes to get shit done with her hands. I'm like, why? People don't say that. Like it seems such a weird, here's my character in 50 words or less type thing.
Yeah.
Also, the only part of this movie that I felt really broke the mold, like stylistically, the way they made the movie obviously was some next level stuff. But in terms of just the plot and the characters and stuff, the only thing I actually feel like kind of stepped out of the box was having the mother as a character in the film. I don't know why, that just felt like, in an action movie, you don't usually have the action hero's mother there, and you don't usually have him like crying into her arms.
But well utilized.
Absolutely, yeah. I thought she was a really cool part of the film because I was obviously wary of watching another movie that's fridging the wife so this guy can go on a journey. But this did have a few female characters in it who had roles to play, so that was cool.
Well, the cop and
the mother,
yeah. Well, what do you guys want to see from Leigh Whannell next? Do you want to see him continue down this sort of sci-fi?
I think he should do a Joker movie.
Huh?
I think he should do a Joker movie.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
I think everyone should do a Joker. Let's just only have Joker movies.
Do you want to see him on a Marvel franchise? Do you want him to stay on these kind of more sort of Blumhouse?
Stay with Blumhouse. Stay with Blumhouse, Lee.
I think that he seems to be really well suited to this kind of thing, and I would like to see, because I mean at the moment he's 50-50 realistically.
Yeah.
No one has heaped praise on Insidious 3, yourself including.
It's the weakest out of the 3.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been praising Upgrade, rightly so. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on what he should do next. I'd like to see if he sticks in the realm of sci-fi horror, kind of lower budget type stuff. I think it'll all depend on how much of a splash Upgrade makes.
Yeah, I'd like to see him stick with action, because this movie had just really cool action scenes. Like, there weren't many of them, but
Matrix style.
What was there was really sick. Like, just some of the better stuff we've seen in a while. I'd love to see him work with like a $5 or $10 million budget, which is still very low, and just let him go a bit wilder.
Yeah.
Because what he did with the like $1 to $2 million is amazing.
Yeah, it's I completely lied before. It's $3 to $5 million.
3 to 5. Okay,
which makes more sense because there's a lot of like futuristic CG stuff that would have cost a fair bit of money.
Yeah, and the sets and whatnot.
But it's already grossed, I think, 7 or 8. So they've already made their money back.
In the States, it's on 7 point something.
Yeah, nice.
And it's due to be released in Australia in almost a couple of days or less than a week. So
14th.
I can't stress enough. Go out and see it.
Seriously, guys, go see this movie because we need more of this kind of stuff.
We need the money, please. Give us the money.
Holy crap! It's not how to sell it.
It's not that bad.
Like, little asterisk.
The situation.
The podcast strikes back as a producer on this film.
Yeah, situation is not that dire yet.
Shut the fuck up. All right, guys, we will be back next week with The Incredibles 2 movie review.
For some reason.
Yeah, I'm not that pumped for that. But
but you should watch it.
Yeah. Anyway, see you next week, Connor.
See you, bud.